Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City was there covering it. And, of course, Mike joins me Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at this time as we like to mix it up. Last night you saw certainly a different strategy. The Sixers made some adjustments, Mike, and obviously that changed the complexion of that game because you saw a much different Trae Young in that game last night. 1 for 7 from 3, 6 for 16, not as many looks. So right off the bat, you saw that the Sixers decided Ben Simmons, your job tonight, don't worry about the other stuff. You're going to defend Trae Young.
Yeah, I thought Ben Simmons did a really good job on him. His length seemed to bother Trae Young, and it's what we talked about after game one, right? You're not going to really shut down Trae Young. He still had 21 points and 11 assists in the game, but what you wanted to do was make him work for those 21 points and 11 assists. And like you said, he shot 6 for 16, was 1 of 7 from beyond the arc. So you're not going to shut him down, but you're going to make him work. And, of course, 21 points, while still good, is not 35. So he did not impact the game the way he did game one.
Nope.
And Ben Simmons deserves credit for that.
Yeah, and, I mean, you're right. I mean, he didn't impact the game the same way, but they were still in the game late. Why were the Hawks able to get back into that game and, sort of shake Milton, and we'll get into that, really – every time they got close, Milton made a shot and then pushed it back. Why were the Hawks able to get back and then hang around?
Well, they got tremendous performances off the bench from Kevin Huerter and Gallinari came off the bench and shot them back in the game. I think they combined for 41 points. And like I wrote today or last night online, if I'm the Atlanta Hawks, I feel good after these first two games. I went up to Philadelphia. I split the games, in Philadelphia. Now we're going back to Atlanta. And if I'm the Hawks, I'm saying to myself, hey, I took Philly's right hand last night. Philly came out flying. They went up 18 points in that first quarter. I took their right hand, and I actually got back in the game and actually had a 1-point lead, late in the third quarter before it became the Shake Milton game. So if I'm Atlanta, I feel good right now going back home for game 3 on Friday night.
Obviously, you mentioned the Shake Milton game. I was, where were you, Mike? You were there. He makes that first 3. You could tell he had a different look about him. And Doc has said, look, he keeps working. We're going to go to him. But how surprised that they went to him in that moment?
How surprised was I? I was sitting up there last night, and Shake Milton goes in the game, and I turn to the guy sitting next to me, and I go, "Why? Why is he going in the game right now?" I was stunned he was going in the game. Give Doc Rivers credit; he hits his first shot, which was the first points that the Philly bench had scored all game. And then I think the shot that really got him going was the 36-footer to sort of end the third quarter there. That the one at the buzzer, that really got him going. And the whole team, the whole bench squad seemed to sort of feed off his energy because all of a sudden Dwight Howard came alive, George Hill came alive, Thibault made some shots. So, give Milton credit. I mean, he had played 8 minutes in the previous 6 playoff games and shot 4 for 19, but he comes in and gets 14 points at a point where the Sixers were kind of, they were looking for for a jolt there, and Milton gave it to him.
If Milton can, he was their 4th leading scorer this year, right? If he can get back to the confidence that he brought to them in the regular season, how much of an addition is that? And how do you utilize? Because people were saying you got to go with Maxey, and that kind of puts out Milton. So if Milton is back, how do you use him? Because we keep saying you got to shorten the bench, and now it seemingly means you've added another guy.
Yeah, obviously you have to, I would have a very short, patience with Shake Milton. I think he stayed in the game last night because he was hitting some shots and stuff like that. If you put him in Friday night, I think you got to put him in Friday night at some point and see what he does. But if he misses a couple of shots, I would get him out. I think one of the reasons that Doc put him in was, he felt that second unit needed, he took a shot, right? That second unit had scored 0 points. He needed somebody with the ability to sort of get them going offensively, maybe give them a jolt, a guy who could score. Maxey did not do that in the first half. So at that point where he might have gone to Maxey in the past, I think he said, well, let's try Shake here and see if he could get, the second unit going. He is one of the, guys on that bench who can score, has done it in the past, and he was able to do it last night. Hit 4 or 5 from 3-point range at a time when the Sixers really desperately kind of needed it.
Mike McGarry from the Press of Atlantic City. Charles Barkley said before the game, Joel Embiid doesn't matter in this series. He had 39 points and they lost. The Hawks have better perimeter players. Does Joel Embiid matter in this series? He had 40 last night.
Of course he matters. I mean, he's averaging 39.5 points a game. He had 39, they lost, they had 40, and they won. I mean, it is a concern, though. If I'm the Sixers, I got to look at this and say, boy, Embiid averaged close to 40 points a game, and we split 2 games on our home court. I'm thinking to myself, what happens if Embiid only gets 25 or 26 or 30? Do they lose game 2? So, it is a lot to see if Embiid can keep this pace up of averaging nearly 40 points a game in the playoffs. It's really, a remarkable playoff run, and was kind of overshadowed a little bit last night by what Milton did. But Embiid has been no short of remarkable in the first 2 games of the series, and it'd be scary to see where the Sixers are if he only averaged 25 a game rather than 39.5.
Well, let me ask you. I mean, you're there, so you can kind of get that feeling. I'm watching this on TV. And it felt as if there was a time there, Mike, when Embiid didn't trust anybody else. And he was like, I'm going to do this all by myself. I mean, he was taking baseline, spin, fadeaways, reversals. It felt like almost watching Allen Iverson with his 2000 crew out there, where I'm just going to score every possession.
Yeah, I thought what the Sixers did well in that, especially in that third quarter, was they ran a lot of pick and rolls with Curry and Embiid, and both, Curry was able to score and Embiid was able to score, and it opens up like a sort of what if Embiid was in a pick and roll with a Dame Lillard or a James Harden? How unstoppable would that be? Because the Seth Curry Joel Embiid pick and roll tandem was very, very effective, especially in that third quarter. And both Curry and Embiid had I thought, really good games.
How about Curry? I mean, what he's brought to this team, he hit 5 out of 5 to open the game. He missed his last one, but he's shooting the lights out. You wonder when he's going to cool off. And if he does cool off, that could be a problem, because Green has been cool the entire, round so far.
Yeah, Green, did not play much last night. I think we expected that after game 1. They did not close with him last night. They had Thibault out there instead. And I got to admit, I've been surprised by Seth Curry. He's been more than just a standstill shooter, especially in this series, especially last night. Like I said, I thought that pick and roll that he ran multiple times with Embiid in that third quarter was very effective. So to me, Seth Curry has been one of the surprises of the postseason with his ability to sort of create out of the pick and roll and off the dribble there. He's been much more than just a standstill shooter, and that's been to the Sixers' benefit.
All right, and then obviously there is Mr. Polarizing Ben Simmons, and we mentioned him at the top. His defense was really a difference maker in this game, but 3 shots last night.
Yeah, I mean, as I wrote about, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I just can't, I just can't have after every playoff game, it be a debate on, how good Ben Simmons is. Look, I think most people have a feeling or a sense I am in the Ben Simmons doubters
but isn't this an example, Mike, of like the day before I said the Bucks need Giannis and he's limited, and that's why they're not good enough. The Sixers don't need Simmons to score because the Bucks need Giannis, and his limitations kill them. Simmons' limitations, the Sixers realized and got other people to do it for him.
Well, we're going to find out. They didn't need him last night, and I think last night, I saw a lot of people saying Simmons only scored 4 points. I think I would agree. On a rare occasion, I would agree with your take and the pro Ben Simmons people's take last night. It's tough to kill a guy when the team scored 120-something points, won the game, and he played an outstanding, I thought, defensive game on Trae Young. Having said that, I think it's the foul shooting, 8 for 32 right now in the playoffs. Doc Rivers, after, saying that to the media, treating the media like it was crazy for suggesting they pull him from the game during the Hack-a-Ben, pulled him from the game. So
he had a timeout left.
What was that?
He had a timeout left. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. He just happened to do it, So he pulled him from the game for that reason. Again, my take on Simmons is we are going to see, let's get to the end of the postseason. Let's see how far the Sixers go. Let's see what Simmons does the rest of the postseason. And then let's make a judgment. Does his sort of unique skill set, does that serve the Sixers going to win a championship, or do the limitations, which, again, as I said, I think the other day, we're getting the classic Ben Simmons experience. We're getting the full thing, 100%. We got the defense. We got the missed foul shots last night. We got the 4 points. We're getting the whole experience, right? At the end of this playoff run, let's take a step back, see where the Sixers go, see what Simmons did, and then say to ourselves, hey, does what Simmons does contribute to them winning a championship, or do they need to make a move and are his weaknesses costing them? Like you said, the way Giannis's weaknesses appear to be costing the Milwaukee Bucks right now.
That is certainly that is rational in an irrational fan base where we have to react almost after every play, let alone every game. It's almost after every possession is, what is he doing? But look, for me, they score 118. I don't care where the points come from as long as they're being – now, on nights, if Curry's ice cold last night – then he's got to do more. If Curry makes 5, he's saying, let you keep shooting. But you're right. This won't play out until one of these games or one of these series where somebody game plans and the game plan is a direct result of him costing them. That hasn't happened really yet. We'll see.
And when you're there last night, you were able to see, the Hawks weren't even pretending to guard him. John Collins was in the lane a full 6 to 7 feet off him. But they were able, he played that way in the third quarter, and the Sixers were able to go to Curry and Embiid and run that pick and roll and score some points. And then Milton comes off the bench and he scores some points. So,
early too, Mike, I was talking the other day about, getting matched up on Curry. They were using Green in that and then using Harris to come off and getting him on Green, on Young. And Harris just kept going. The problem was Collins can't leave Simmons because he's down in that dunker spot. So there's where Simmons kind of hanging out there puts that defender kind of in limbo.
Right. And like you said, they were able to score last night. Again, I am in the Ben Simmons doubter camp, but I'm also in the camp that says we can't go. It's almost like the Carson Wentz story during the football season. After every throw, people were debating, pro or con. I think we've got to wait to the end of the postseason, and then take a look and see at the overall picture of which way you want to go.
All right, so Game 3 goes to Atlanta now. So you saw the first 2 here. If you're Atlanta going home, you feel good?
I feel very good because I split there. I have home court advantage now. And like I said, last night I took the Sixers' best shot, and I got myself back in the game. And it really took an all-time performance from Embiid and a performance from Shake Milton. We don't know if he's going to be able to duplicate that to beat me. So if I'm Atlanta, I'm feeling good. But as we all know, that can change. This series will, tip heavily in one team's direction based on what happens in Game 3. And that happens a lot in games best of 7 series.
If you're Philly and you get out of that with a win last night and you're Doc Rivers, what are you guys having? What's your conversation with his coaching staff today?
I think you got to continue to do what you did as far as bothering Trae Young, but you've got to figure out a way to get out on these shooters even more so and contest some of these 3-pointers. Atlanta, last night it was Gallinari that got hot. I think the Sixers have to recognize who the hot hawk is early in the game and give more attention to him. The Gallinari was hard from the start. The Atlanta other shooter, Kevin Huerter, was outstanding. I think a concern for the Sixers is this Atlanta bench. And except for the couple of minutes that Milton had last night, how this Atlanta bench has completely outplayed the Philly bench in games 1 and 2. So that would be my big concern if I was Doc Rivers.
All right, Mike McGarry for the Press of Atlantic City. He'll be back on Friday as we get ready for that game number 3. Of course, they have the travel day now, and you'll have that one for you. And I know you got a big local ball game. Are you going to be doing double duty on Friday?
Yeah, absolutely. Probably one of the biggest high school baseball games I can remember in all the years I've been doing it. Ocean City and Mainland, it's a big deal when they play in any sport, and they're playing for a Group 3 title on Friday, 4 p.m. at Mainland, and that should be a huge baseball game.
Will you be able to get to Philly in time? Oh, the game's in Atlanta. Never
No, I
mind.
don't have to get to Philly. And I won't be going to Atlanta, so I'll be all right.
You're lucky. You're lucky. You're lucky. All right, Mike McGarry from the Press. Follow him at AC Press McGarry, and he, like all guests, appeared via the Boardwalk Honda hotline. All right, pal. I'll see you.
All right, see you down the road. Thanks.